Hi everyone, it's Dawn Fisher, Morning Glory Needleworks. Welcome to my 29th FlossTube video. And as always, thank you to everybody who watches my videos and subscribes. As always, any links that I may talk about will probably be or will be in the comments section, the description of the video at the bottom. It's usually underneath the video. If you click on like see more, it will open it up and you'll be able to see links. There's links to Etsy, my Instagram, Stitch of the Month Facebook group, Stitch a Day Facebook group, the Morning Glory Needleworks Facebook group. What else have we got? Other biolink.com actually has a lot of other links in it there. And also in that same section, I break my videos into chapters. So that way, if you only want to do Stitch of the Month, or if you've watched the video and want to come back and watch like the Stitch of the Month section, you can just click on the timestamp for that section of the video, and it will take you right there. You don't have to like scroll through the whole thing. So that's my intro blurb. But you know what? You know what today is? It's March 1st. It's my birthday. Yay! So we're gonna celebrate. So I'm gonna talk to you about what's going on first. I got a couple other exciting things going on. So I'm gonna tell you about that, and then we'll get into the needlework stuff. Well, as many of you know, Jeffrey and I have been a couple for over 13 years. And after all this time, we have finally gotten married. This was my wonderful blusher that I wore for the ceremony. I just wanted something simple. It was a very small, simple wedding. It was wonderful. It was very personal. It was in our living room with just a few friends. I'm going to take this off because I can't see. We had just a few friends and family family out of town, Michigan, Indiana, Texas, all over that joined us over Zoom. Thank goodness for Zoom. And it was just wonderful. We had a secular wedding with a few rituals that are meaningful to us, such as like the cup and athame, sharing of cake. We did a hand fasting ceremony. We exchanged rings with pinnings of Scottish blossoms, which I made up on my own, and of course our vows. And it was a perfect ceremony for us. I wanted to show you the items we use. So when I came, I actually went in the other room and then came in. Jeffrey had seen me in my dress, but he hadn't. I had a dress that I'd only worn once. It was a beautiful springy white and with pink and blue flowers on it. Unfortunately, we don't have our pictures yet. We did have a photographer, but he took like thousands of pictures. I don't know, hundreds anyway. So hopefully by the next video I do, the next FlossTube, I will have pictures to share with you. And believe me, I will be sharing pictures. So what I carried with me, this as my bouquet, this is actually a sage bundle, and then there's wax. I wanted something with lavender. There's some lavender in there and a dried rose, but I can keep this forever, or, you know, it is supposed to be burned for a ceremony. I think I'm going to keep it for a while, though. We'll see. So that was my bouquet. And then we did the cup and athame. So what we did, these were, I actually bought my own. This is a stone chalice. It's really pretty. Actually, if you shine light in here, there's clear spots where the light shines through. It's really very pretty. And then I added these dried flowers and the bow. And I purchased an athame, which is used in rituals. And it's a knife, but it's not meant to be used to cut with. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm learning. So again, I added the flowers and a bow, a ribbon to it, just to personalize it and make it my own. Now the Scottish blossoms, what I did, Jeffrey and I are both Scottish. Now my family is the Fishers, come from the Campbell clan, and Jeffrey is McDonald. His last name is not McDonald, but I believe his mother was a McDonald. So he's a McDonald. So this is the McDonald tartan, and this is the ancient Campbell. That was the only, they didn't have the new Campbell, they only had the ancient. It's very pretty. So what I did is I put ribbons on these, just a 1/8 inch ribbon. I ran it through there and tied our rings to it. So our rings were on this. My ring was on Jeffrey's and Jeffrey's ring was on mine. So the people that stood up with us, Lova stood up with Jeffrey. She's kind of like a sister to him. And then my friend Connie, who I've been friends with since like 1992, she stood up with me, or actually we all sat. So anyway, they had a hold of these and then they took the rings off and gave them to us. And the officiate, she blessed them. And then we exchanged rings and then these were pinned on us. So I was pinned with Jeffrey's clan and he was pinned with my clan. So that's what I did with these. A lot of times they exchange a tartan of some kind, but this was enough for us, just these little things. And then we did a hand fasting. So I ordered this hand fasting cord on Etsy, and the woman made it for me. I picked out my own colors. She had some beautiful ones on there, but these are like my colors. It's all tied up. Oops, all tied up in a knot here. So I'm trying to untangle it a little bit anyway. But she made this beautiful hand fasting cord for us. I don't know which is the front and which is the back. I don't think it matters. But and added the charms. There's charms. This is very long. It's like 3 feet long on either end. And I added these other little heart-shaped Celtic heart charms to the end. So it was wonderful. I mean, she was in constant contact with me and said, do you want it this way or do you want it that way? It's wonderful. And what we did is Jeffrey and I held hands, and then the woman, our officiate, whose name was also Dawn, she placed these on our hands and then wrapped them and spoke the hand fasting ceremony. And then, of course, after that, we spoke our vows, and she pronounced us man and wife. So I'm very excited. And it was kind of different because it was in our house. We didn't do anything really fancy. We sat on the couch. You know, it's kind of hard for Jeffrey to get around. So because he is in a wheelchair. So we just had him on the couch, and both of us together, and we did everything seated. So the opening song was If I Fell by the Beatles, which is significant in our relationship. That song, when we first met, was very meaningful to us when we first started dating and got together. So, and then the closing song that was up, we had an opening song and a closing song. And the closing song was At Last by Etta James, which I'm sure most of you know. And it was perfect for us. We had it was just lovely. It was very sweet, just a few people in the house. And then we sat and talked for a little while afterwards. And then everybody left, and it was great. And my family and his family were watching over Zoom. So I sat and talked to them over Zoom for a while, and it was just wonderful. So anyway, we're legally married now. It's all official. I actually took the paperwork down and had it stamped and all that. So it's all done. So again, I don't have pictures, but believe me, you will be seeing pictures because I'm really excited. He took a lot of really cool pictures. So we didn't go on a honeymoon. We're not really going to go anywhere. But the way I see it is Jeffrey and I have traveled so many places and done so many wonderful things, had great adventures. traveling together and doing things together that I consider those all our honeymoon. So needless to say, we're happy and excited for this next phase in our lives. So yay. So next, now, speaking of marriage and that, I've put aside the reproduction that I've been talking about, the reproduction WIP that I've been talking about. And I'm working on a new personal project. So this is, I'll show you the, this is called The Wedding Love Knot by Peppermint Purple. I downloaded it. It's she's on Etsy, I believe it was. I've had the design for years, and I decided this was a perfect design to commemorate our wedding. Now it says at the top, it says a Celtic love knot represents unbroken loops which are inseparable from each other. And then at the bottom, it has the year and the names and the year. So, and it's, this is cross stitch, the design in the center, then around it, I know it's hard to see, our blackwork designs. So that's what I've been working on. I decided that was going to be my project for the next time being. And I've got this beautiful fabric here that I've hung on to for years. You can't see how beautiful it is because the lighting isn't as good, but I'm going to pull out. This is as far as I've gotten, which is actually pretty far. And I did it, I'm going to make sure I have it the right way. I'm stitching it in the colors from our wedding. It's hard to see next time I show it, but this is all cross stitch in 2 shades of purple. And then the blackwork sections will be aqua or teal, which are these are my favorite colors. So here's my, oops, I'm going to drop my thing here, my bag. These are the 2 shades of purple. They're very close. I kind of matched them to, I pulled out the colors that she said to use, which were like blues and blue grays. And I just kind of matched them. They're very close. It's a very subtle difference, but there's 2 shades of aqua and 2 shades of purple. So those are the colors I'm using. And like I said, I've had this fabric for years, this linen. It's 28 count. It's called Lavender Sunset. This is Witchell hand dyed fabric. And it's a pale lavender with a little bit of bluish gray mixed in. Like I said, it's hard to see, but it's a beautiful fabric and it's nice to work with. And I'm really enjoying it. And it's coming along. So I'm hoping I can keep working on it and hopefully get it done fairly quickly. It's moving along pretty quickly. So that was that's my latest WIP, my work in project. So I don't know how I'm going to frame it. I'm thinking about trying to work out some way to attach this to the frame, or I don't know, maybe wrap it around and hang it down the bottom. I may do it as, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe do a quilted fabric frame for it. But anyway, I want to attach this somehow so it's with that piece. And I also might be able to attach these somehow and just put them all together on something. My mind is just trying to make up what I'm going to do. We'll see once it's done what I decide on, and I will obviously share it with you as soon as I figure out what I'm going to do. So now this is going to be short and sweet this time. So for what are we in, March, I decided the stitch of the month should be Irish stitch. So as with a lot of other stitches, Irish stitch has many other names, but I decided to use the Irish stitch name because it is March, St. Patrick's Day. And Irish stitch This is it here. It's also called Bargello, Florentine flame stitch. It has a lot of different names. So, like I said, but I thought for March, it should be Irish stitch. So this will be available. This is what it looks like. It's hard to see, but this is what it looks like. And it will be, this will be available as a PDF on the in the Stitch of the Month Facebook group. And along with this are detailed instructions on how to work the stitch. So you can see this has 4 different colors that I used for this stitch. I did the 2 main colors in green because St. Patrick's Day in March. So, and then I added a couple more colors with a little touch of yellow highlight, which is hard to see even on this. You can barely see the little yellow highlight, but I'm going to demonstrate the stitch for you as always. I'm going to do the PowerPoint so you can see this close up, what it looks like. I give on here, I tell you what colors I used. You can use whatever you want. I am using sulky, 12-weight sulky cotton. You can stitch it in floss, silk, whatever you want, whatever you have on hand. Use whatever colors you want. This stitch always turns out beautiful. Also, oftentimes this stitch, you don't just leave these hanging. You would stitch the bottom and make it solid. But I thought it looked kind of pretty as it almost looks like lace hanging down. It's really pretty. So that's, and it's a fun stitch. It's fairly simple, famous last words, but it is fairly simple. So I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint and I will talk about it. And then of course, I'll demonstrate it for you. Okay, so with this, I'm sure you can see it much better, the numbers and what I've done. Because there's 4 different colors, I used 4 different colors on the diagram. So what I did the white stitches are dark green, the gray stitches are light green, the gray stitches, the dark gray stitches are what's called spring garden. It's a real springy, obviously over dye or blend, it's called blendable thread. So it's got blues and pinks and greens, pastels. It's really pretty. And then the black stitch at the top is I used buttercream, which is a nice bright golden yellow. And it just gives a little accent. It would be pretty with a pink or any other color, whatever color you choose. Feel free. And I would really love to see pictures of your progress on this Stitch of the Month sampler. So you're going to work the white stitches first, and they're just straight stitches. Now with the sulky thread, I used 1 strand because it's almost equal to 2 strands of DMC, close. But if you're using like a DMC or a floss, you're probably going to want to use at least 2, if not 3 strands, depending on how heavy you want it to cover. So, and you'll have to lay it the way satin stitch is laid. I did satin stitch in a video last year, so you can review that. I don't remember which one it was. And for Stitch of the Month. So you can review that to see how to lay the threads. So what you're going to do, you're going to come up at 1, which is 2 threads below the row above. Or you can drop down 4. It doesn't matter. I did it 2 threads. And you're going to take a long straight stitch over 4 threads. Then you're going to come up 1 thread to the right and 2 threads up at that's 3, and then go down at 4. You can also come up from the bottom and go up, which I would normally do on this row. It doesn't matter. But your next row, I'll talk about it when we get to the next row. So anyway, you'll continue and you'll do 5 stitches just like that. Just go over 1 thread for your next stitch, up 2 threads, come up at 5, go down at 6. Each step of this row is, all the white stitches are over 4 threads. Then when we get to the next row, you're going to have some compensating stitches. So you're going to come up at A, which is the lowercase a, which is the light gray, which is 1 thread over from step 1. You're going to go over 2 threads. So it'll share holes with step 3 from the previous row or previous step. And then you're going to come up right next to A and go down 4 threads down at D, which shares holes with step 5. You're going to continue. You're going to do 4 of those stitches down and 4 stitches up. And then you're going to have another compensating stitch at the top. Now you'll notice the diagram for this stitch is only 1 section of it. So there's 5 sections across the row. So you can, don't just do 1 section and stop. Don't just go to 21, 22 and stop. Your 21, 22 stitch becomes the same as your 1, 2 stitch. So you'll just continue across the row until you have 5 points done. And this fits perfectly across the row. So now we're going to move on to the dark gray, and you're going to come up at A, which is the uppercase A, and that is 1 thread over from C. And you're going to go down at B, again, over 2 threads. Then you're going to do 3 stitches over 4 threads, 2 down, and then go back up 1, 1 over 2 threads. And again, work your way across the entire row and do these. Just carry your thread across the back. And then the last step is the black. And I use, like I said, the bright yellow. And you're just going to take the 1 stitch over 2 threads. So, and you'll just do, there'll be 5 of those stitches across the row. So that is Irish stitch, again, also known as Bargello, Florentine flame stitch. And there's a bunch of other names. Most stitches have a lot of different names. So now I'm going to demonstrate the stitch for you. Okay, so here I am. I have a bunch of needles threaded up. Now my colors are not going to match what's on what I used. I'm just using colors that will show up well. So I'm going to come up at 1, down a little bit, come up at 1. Oh my, I'm all tangled up back here. I have really long threads. There we go. So I'm going to come up at 1. Whoops, wrong way. Move it down. Okay. Let me see if I can focus this a little more. Okay, so that is step 1. Now I'm going to go down over 4 threads, 2, 4. Now, step 3, I'm going to come over 1 thread and up 2 threads. So you're halfway in between. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to continue down 5, 6, 7, 8, 'Counting my stitches here. 9, 10, 11, 12. Whoops, go down there. I'll get this right, yeah. Now I've got my 12 or my 6 stitches down the row. Now I'm going to work my way back up. So I'm going to come up here 2 threads above the top of step 11. I'm getting lots of knots here. The thread is way too long. So there's 13, 14, 15, 16. It's pretty easy once you get the rhythm. The trick is just to make sure you go over the correct amount of threads. Okay, that's 19, 20. And this is 21, 22, which will then become your 1, 2 of your next row. So you would just start back down again and going down. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I just wanted to show you to make sure you understood how to work your next stitch. So now I'm going to start the next section. This is the light gray. So this is step A, lowercase a, and this is only going to be over 2 threads. So that is step AB. It's hard to see. And then C, D. Again, see, you're going to be even with the top. Down 2. And the nice thing is once you get your first row in, everything just kind of fits with it and you don't have to count that much anymore. Just make sure you're starting in the correct place, and then you'll just end in the same hole. And this is why I like to go down, because it's harder to come up in what's called a dirty hole or a full hole. So if you come up, you're coming up into an empty hole. You can't always do that. Whoops, you can't always do that. But it's just easier than trying to mess with, especially if you're using more than one strand, like with DMC or regular floss. Now I'm going to do my next little compensating stitch. Now I'm going to move over here and start going down. So I'm starting the next row or the next section there. So there's that. So now I'm going to use the next color. I probably have threads all tangled up under here, but that's okay. So this next one's only going to have like 2 compensating stitches and 3 stitches. So this is the dark gray. So there's AB. My green thread is hanging down here. It's hard to see the difference on those, actually. I'm going to take this out and use the red so you can really see the difference. Okay, so this is kept the uppercase letters A, B, and then you're going to be again coming across the top over 4, down 2, over 4, and then up even with the top, and then down, and then 2. And I don't have, anyway, your next stitch will be over here. I didn't stitch too far over. So that stitch will go there like that. Of course, you'll have these other stitches done here. Now for the final stitch, this one's easy because you're just going to come up here right in the center. This is the black step, and this is 1, 2. And that's it. And then you're just going to go over here. Of course, you'll finish each color all the way across the row, but you can see the last one only has 1 stitch. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it up close. You see how that works? You can see where one strand may be a little thin. So if you're using DMC, again, you may want to use 2 or even 3 strands, depending on how heavy, how much coverage you want. So that is it. Like I said, short and sweet. We've got a lot going on here. It's been crazy. Let me tell you, I'm getting ready for a wedding, right? We're having a wedding. I'm getting ready for it. And in the middle of all that, I think I mentioned in the last FlossTube, we had to have a roof put on. So for 2 days, we had roofers. And of course, it ran over a little bit, not a huge amount. The money, it cost more than they quoted, of course. Not much, a little bit. And we still have to have some more work done. And not only did that happen, but I called in a handyman to fix up some stuff in our kitchen. I think I mentioned that the drain was leaking to our garbage disposal. So he fixed that. He did a wonderful job. Oh my God, he's so good. He's in the neighborhood. He lives like 2 blocks away. It's great. So he fixed that. The flooring, under the sink, the shelf was just it was bad when we bought the house, but it was just falling down and everything. So he pulled all that out, put a beautiful new shelf in there. It's so nice. And actually it was nice because there was so much crap under there. I pulled so much stuff out and just threw it away. It's like, why am I keeping this? And then while he was here, he also put up we only had 2 upper cabinets in our kitchen, and I don't understand. We have a big long galley kitchen and they only have 2 upper cabinets. So we had him put in 2 more. And then I had bought some little shelving to go. We have a window over the sink and there's a little bit of room. So I had him put like 3 shelves, 2 little 3-shelf units in there. This is stuff we've been planning on doing. I mean, we've had these cupboards for at least 2 years. Everything happened, with Jeffrey having to have his leg amputated and just everything that's gone on. We just everything happened and we couldn't get them fixed, but now it's done. He was even less than I thought he was going to be because the handyman, because he was here for like 5 hours. So even including supplies, it was way less than I thought it was going to be. He was very reasonable and he did a wonderful job. I'm thrilled. So yay, it's like having a whole new kitchen. I don't even know what to do with these shelves. So, but anyway, and meanwhile, all that happened like 2 days before the wedding. Actually, I think the roof got finished the day before the wedding. So it's like no pressure here. And then with everything else going on, it's just been crazy. But like I said, the wedding was wonderful. I'm just so happy. It was what I wanted, just really small, very personal. And it worked out perfect. So again, thank you to everybody for watching my videos. Be sure to subscribe so you can be notified. Videos always come out, well, usually unless something happens, on the 1st and the 15th. So be sure to share any photos on the stitch of the month. There's a stitch a day. A Year in Stitches is one of my designs, and we have a Facebook group for that. So you don't have to buy the pattern to join, but you can join that. And also, so next time I'll probably be talking about maybe an antique sampler, maybe some other little sewing things in my collection. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about, but let me know if there's a stitch you want to learn. That would be the 1st of next month, or something you would like to see. If I have it in my collection, I would be happy to show it to you. I'm going to try and find another sampler. Well, I have lots of samplers, so I'll have to find one I want to pull out to talk about. So again, thank you so much. Check out all the links that are listed, and I will see you again on the 15th of March. Thank you again for watching.